some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you
What you
tipping
mean?
off Big U. I think that definitely
I
helped
did
with the timing.
what?
I think you going online and saying that, and the only reason I'm saying this is that if you ever read any federal indictment,
I did what? I tipped him off?
you tipped him off via
What
online.
did the lady say in the recording I sent you?
Well,
please don't what?
Please don't tell. But this
man, it's like everybody got something against Wack 100. 50 Cent straight up called him out, accusing him of snitching on Big U, the same Big U who ended up facing that heavy indictment. And now the streets are buzzing with talk that Wack might have been wired up, working with the feds to trap rappers. But chill for a second. This ain't me throwing dirt or making claims. I'm just laying out what the streets are whispering. It all goes back to one serious phone call. And this came straight from Wack 100 himself. He admitted he called not Big U, but Big U's wife, warning her about a federal indictment that was about to drop on her husband. How would Wack even know that? Think about it. Who outside the system has that kind of inside scoop on a sealed federal operation? And what kind of man picks up the phone to warn someone like that unless they got connections deep?
You hit up Big U's wife. You said, "Sis, 911. One sec, let me get Solo." And you gave him a heads up.
What I tell him?
You said, "One sec, let me get Solo. He needs to leave. Bad." In caps, all caps. He needs to leave.
I said so bad, right?
Yeah, full bad.
What the 600 said is 4 rolling 60 telling on it.
All right, so Wack, let me ask you this.
So that's what the 4 bad means.
What you talking about, you little brain,
let me ask you this, Wack.
Go to talking, now I just sent you a clip. Play the clip. You're going to hear the people saying, don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody nothing. Don't say nothing. So which one you want? If he wouldn't have said nothing and y'all found out knew, you would say what? Why you didn't say nothing?
I told you I'm doing my movie time. I talked to you, and I told you I want you involved in it. But I'm not fucking with that trucker dude. That dude lied on every aspect.
In the system. That's exactly when 50 Cent reportedly started connecting the dots. And suddenly those wax wired up rumors started sounding a lot less like gossip and a lot more like something real. But check this. Way before 50 even stepped in, Suge Knight had already tried to sound the alarm. He allegedly warned Birdman to keep an eye on Wack 100, saying Wack was the one on the Fed's payroll. That hits different when you remember Suge knew Wack personally from years in the game. So when the Big U situation exploded, everything started lining up like a puzzle. Then came the 43-count indictment. Heavy stuff like RICO.
I will say some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that definitely.
Extortion, wire fraud, and a whole list of serious charges. The feds even linked Big U to a 2021 case involving the passing of a young musician, RWW. But that part didn't make it into the full 75-page indictment. Word is, Nevada's handling that section separately. And here's the wildest part. The feds were literally pulling audio from Wack 100's own clubhouse rants and podcast clips as part of the evidence. Imagine hearing your own voice being played in a federal case.
Plus, you're saying certain. I know you spoke to, or you had some information from the fam. Like, this is like, you should only know this if you're doing the investigation. But I get it.
That's when DJ Academics caught on first. He didn't hold back either. He said straight up in an interview that he believed Wack had tipped off Big U. I think he definitely did it, Academics said. And Wack's reaction? He laughed it off. But come on, who laughs when their name's floating around in a federal investigation? That's the kind of move that makes everybody look twice. This ain't the first time people been side-eyeing Wack 100, calling him a possible rat. Let's spin the clock back to 2006. Wack and his brother got pulled over in Texas, and the cops found a loaded piece and more sitting in the car. Both of them were already convicted felons, so that should have been an open and shut federal case. But somehow, the whole thing got tossed out 5 years later in 2011. Not because the evidence was weak or the search was dirty. Nah, the motion to suppress got denied. The case was dropped in the interest of justice, and anybody who knows
most, right, is Birdman. Yeah, I'm a dude to keep it 100. Ain't nobody bigger than the politics. That's my brother, and we get on each other. But Birdman, out of everybody, Birdman had got on my ass, like, on me. He told me how dissatisfied he is. He said, I love you, you my brother. I ain't never going to. You know that. We done been in the trenches together. But God damn it,
court talk knows that phrase usually screams cooperation. From that moment, people started looking at Wack a little funny. Then, out of nowhere, his reach in the industry just exploded. He was managing major names, popping up everywhere, talking like he had inside info no one else could touch. He always seemed to know things before they hit the blogs, like he had the streets and the system both feeding him intel.
When I came in, I swear it was 50 and like 2 people. He was like 3 or 4 deep. Radio guys, like regular. So when I went over there, I said, yo, check this out. He's like, Wack, what's up? I said, man, game in the alley, 50 deep. It don't make sense for you to restrict him from coming in, and then you got to come out, and you got 50 out your way.
Meanwhile, people close to him were catching cases left and right. But somehow, Wack kept walking clean. And then came the next twist. Reports started floating that Wack got caught on a federal wiretap. Yeah, a recorded call with a dude named Stutterbox, who's allegedly tied to a bigger case connected to the Main Street Mafia Crips. And guess what Wack was doing on that call? According to folks familiar with the paperwork, he wasn't just chatting, he was connecting dots, breaking down details like he was working side by side with the feds. Some people even believe he was helping them piece that in.
We got up there, we came in, and shit. You had Navy SEALs with it. 2 in all directions. Probably about 6 of them. Walkies in their ear, vested, strapped to their thigh, bullies on them, semis on them, magazine cartridges. I said, yeah. He ain't slipping.
Today's not the day.
Nah, 50 move different.
Entire case together, that's wild. But these whispers didn't stop there. Remember when Wack and Birdman were cool?
Build BMF up to the magnitude that it's viewed upon in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's already squeezed it for what he's gonna get. I think right now he's trying to burn it down.
Yeah.
So he can't continue anything with it. That's
They even ran Cash Money West together, moving like a powerhouse. But then Wack started managing Tekashi 6ix9ine. And for a man already accused of being tied up with the feds, linking with 6ix9ine was straight career suicide in the streets. When Birdman found out, he reportedly pressed Wack about
Down there, so Adam don't be doing no telling, bro.
Man, they saying Adam locked up, all on the blogs. What's going on?
They came and got him this morning, bro. They doubled back. They came by and we try and have him out because he's supposed to go live today.
it. Not in public, but behind the scenes. After that, Birdman's energy switched up quick. He stayed polite but distant, stopped moving the same around Wack, and that silence said everything. And here's where it all circles back to 50 Cent. Wack manages the game, and everybody remembers the nasty beef between 50 and Game. Instead of letting that old drama die, Wack started stirring it up again. He hit interviews and podcasts talking.
They own him about, but they own him about something. And I don't know if they was trying to get something out of him, but I'm pretty sure come 4 o'clock, he gonna be here. My attorney me. They me that they're gonna definitely have him at 30 at the latest. So he'll be here at 4 o'clock. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a lot to say.
Reckless, claiming 50 ain't from the streets no more and that he's protected by the industry. He even said 50 gotta check in whenever he lands in LA. That kind of talk isn't random. It's like Wack's always trying to test people's image, make noise, and keep his name hot in the mix. So basically, Wack was straight up hinting that without his approval, 50 Cent ain't safe on the West Coast. That's a bold thing to say, especially when you're talking about someone like 50. And Wack wasn't just running his mouth for attention. He had a story to back it up. He claimed he and his crew pulled up to the SLS hotel to see 50 in person. But when they arrived, Wack said it looked like a full-on military operation. According to him, 50 rolled so deep that his security looked like Navy.
I told him exactly what the Fed said. I told him, like, don't say anything. And then his way of not saying anything is to call into the news and basically put forth a completely misleading narrative because, you know, he just loves to cause chaos and everything. And from my perspective, okay, let's go viral. Sure. Post whatever. I don't care.
It did help, though.
Right? Y'all seen my face in here
Like,
when that
bump?
nigga Wack was on the phone.
Yeah,
I mean,
Feds
bro,
were
if I was arrested, I feel like you guys
bro,
would
that
probably
nigga at
know.
home, bro. No way.
An agent of beautiful chaos.
Navy SEALs, machine firearms, formation, the whole deal. That image alone had the internet cracking up. People online were like, why would he even admit that? It sounded less like intimidation and more like a confession that 50's not one to play with. But Wack didn't stop there. When the whole Big Meech and BMF conversation started trending again, he jumped back in the spotlight. He accused 50 of using BMF's legacy for profit, saying 50's squeezing BMF dry and milking the story for every dollar he can. That's a wild accusation, especially since 50's been credited for keeping the BMF name alive through his TV work. Still, what really caught everyone off guard was 50's reaction, or better yet, his lack of one. No slick captions, no power memes, no jokes, nothing. For a man who made trolling an art form, that silence was deafening. Suddenly, that quiet started looking
That I described last night, where basically the Feds came.
Yeah.
All they wanted to do was drop off the subpoena for the cease and desist.
So where did Wack get the "you were locked up" thing at?
I don't know. He was just trolling, and then they just ran with it. And they made a clip out of it, and it's what it is. It's not. There was. I didn't even have communication with anybody in order to turn over anything. And all they want is like one email. So to me, it's like pretty simple, cut and dry thing. You know, it's like my lawyer did tell me like you probably should not antagonize them, which I had no plans on. But
I mean,
that's my one note is do not antagonize the Fed.
looking less like strategy and more like protection. According to insiders, 50 wasn't staying silent just to be classy. He was playing it safe. Word is, he believes Wack's too close to some federal heat, and that any back and forth could turn into something that lands in court real fast. And then boom, just when the internet started catching on to that theory, the Big U indictment dropped. That's when all the puzzle pieces started lining up for real. The Feds dropped a massive RICO case, 43 counts deep, naming 18 members of the Rollin' 60s. But guess who wasn't listed anywhere in the paperwork? Wack! And that's exactly what made people raise their eyebrows. His name wasn't on the indictment, but his voice reportedly popped up multiple times in the supporting documents. Now that doesn't make sense to a lot of people. How you that deep in the conversations but somehow not on the charge sheet? That's when everyone started asking the real questions, and before the dust could settle, Wack dropped another bombshell. He claimed that Adam 22, founder of No Jumper, got caught up in the same RICO mess. Remember, Wack's a regular on No Jumper, so this rumor hit close to home. Wack even called into the show, saying he just got off the phone with his lawyer and was trying to send him over to help Adam before things got worse. He said the Feds had come and picked Adam up that morning and even circled back for a second visit later that day. But then came the twist. Wack admitted he didn't really know what the Feds were questioning Adam about, just that they were pressing him on something. That alone had the internet going crazy, thinking No Jumper might be next in line for federal smoke. Then out of nowhere, Adam 22 himself stepped in to shut it all down. He jumped online and flat out said he wasn't arrested. And he didn't stop there. He fired back at Wack, saying Wack's got an overactive imagination. Adam made it crystal clear he's not under investigation, not in trouble, and definitely not sitting in any federal room. For now, at least, he's still free and moving. But that exchange showed just how messy things around Wack keep getting. But then Adam hit us with something that made everything 10 times more interesting. He admitted that, yeah, the Feds really did pull up to his place and even spoke directly with his lawyer. According to Adam, they weren't there to arrest him. They were there to get their hands on a cease and desist letter they'd received from Big U about a year back. You know, the one where Big U demanded No Jumper take down that podcast episode where Loose Cannon supposedly claimed Big U knew what was gonna happen to Nipsey before it went down. That's wild. Adam explained that the letter wasn't mentioned anywhere in the official indictment or criminal complaint, which made the whole thing even sketchier. He said it straight up. It's suspicious. It left him wondering what exactly the feds were digging into when it came to Big U, because it sounded like they were connecting dots behind the scenes that nobody else could see. And right after that, all eyes swung back to Wack 100, because he's the one who originally pulled Adam's name into this whole mess. But here's the twist. Wack's not on that indictment either. Still, he somehow seems to know way too much about what's going on, and that's when the internet turned on him hard. Overnight, people started calling him Rat 100, and the comment sections were ruthless. One user posted, "Wack is a terrific informant, man of many talents, snitching being one of them." Another said, "I never seen a so-called G who knows so much about the feds." That's not just random hate. That's years of street suspicion finally boiling over. Folks started pointing out how strange it is that a man with no badge could know such detailed federal info, right down to who's talking and when. So the real question is, what do you think? Are all these allegations against Wack 100 just rumors? Or could there be some truth hiding under all that noise? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story's still unfolding fast. And if you're here for the real street talk and raw breakdowns, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out our next video for more wild stories straight from the underground.